All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Pastrami Nation Podcast. I'm Kevin, of course, um, entertainment editor at Pastrami Nation, and of course, joining me today, Mr. Godfather of Toys, Mr. Christian Decorda. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Good to be back. How are you doing, Kevin?
Yeah, yeah. What's that?
How are you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Excited to do this. Yeah, it's been a while. Since we've done
Yeah.
this, and I'm really excited
Yeah.
for it. On today's show, we're going to be talking about some of the trailers that dropped during the big game on Sunday. The funny thing is, no matter how many times people tell me, I still have no idea who was playing that game. I don't know what was going on. I know it's the Super Bowl, but I don't know. Someone won. Someone, good job, team that won. I
I
think it
to
was the
be yeah. Go ahead.
no. You go ahead.
The only reason why I know, to be fair, is my student. I have a student from Philadelphia.
Oh,
And
yeah, okay, the
yeah,
Eagles, yeah, no, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I know the Eagles and the Chiefs were playing. I don't know who
Mhm.
won, but I think it was the Chiefs.
Chiefs
I don't
won
know.
3 points,
It's
I think.
football.
Yeah.
Um, it's sports stuff. Doesn't matter. But yeah, we're gonna talk about those trailers that dropped. Give us we're gonna give you guys our thoughts and everything. And of course, we got to talk about The Last of Us. The new episode dropped early Friday. Not to compete with the Super Bowl. It's an awesome episode. So yeah, it's actually the show, man. The last. I swear, it's just like determined to take every ounce of emotion that you have in your body and like just it's gonna destroy. It destroys every single episode. I swear, like, well, at least episode 3 and this episode at least like
Yeah.
had me in tears by the end. Like it
Yeah.
was
And to
insane.
be fair, different tiers.
Different kinds of tears, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Pablo, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. Um, if you're not following us already, please follow us on social media. You could, if you're watching this on YouTube, wherever you're checking this out, make sure to like and subscribe, share it as well. If you can share it, the more views we get, the better, but it just helps us out so much. So we really, really appreciate it. Before we get started though, I do want to talk about a big premiere date for one of my favorite shows. So Ted Lasso has announced its season 3 return. I've been so excited. I've been waiting for it to return. They released a really, really fun teaser for it today. It releases March 15th. That is something I am beyond the moon excited about. I love Ted Lasso. It's like my favorite. It only has 2 seasons, but it's already kind of cemented itself as one of my favorite television shows of all time. Just after the first season, like I was already in. Second season, even better. Third season, supposedly going to be the last season. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, 3-season run. I mean, listen, some shows kind of know what they're doing. They kind
Okay.
of, they don't want to drag it out too much. They tell their story and they're gone. But who knows? I mean, they could change their mind. It's supposedly the last season, but you never know with these things. So that's on Apple TV Plus. If you guys haven't checked it out, please check out Ted Lasso. Apple TV Plus has a lot of great shows, man. Like they have a lot of great, Mythic Quest is on there, which is fantastic. Ted Lasso. I haven't watched Severance yet, but I heard Severance is incredible. So I definitely want to check that out. But let's talk Super Bowl. Let's talk the trailers that dropped during the Super Bowl. There's some pretty big stuff, some pretty, not necessarily surprising stuff, but it's kind of the basic stuff that we knew we were going to get. We got a trailer for The Flash. We got new Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Volume 3. We got a Fast X trailer, which just looks absolutely bonkers.
I don't even know
And
what I saw. It's so much. It's
it
too.
looks insane. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that. We'll also talk about Air. I don't know if you saw the trailer for Air, the new
Yes.
Ben Affleck. That looks pretty incredible too. I'm actually really excited for that. We got some. So what they did was they released these teases, TV spots for these trailers during the game, and then they were like, full trailer out now. Go online to check it out. But there was a couple that they only released the TV spots, and that was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny just had a TV spot, like a 30-second spot, which made me really kind kind of sad, but also hopeful for what's to come. I'm really excited for it. I mean, it's Indiana Jones. You can't really go wrong. James Mangold is directing this time, so I'm really, really excited for that. We also got a 30-second spot for Dungeons and Dragons, which looks like it's Honor Among Thieves. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. What else did they? There was something else that had Transformers: Rise of.
Transformers had
What
a
was
short
it?
one. Didn't Cocaine Bear have one too? Or
I don't know if Cocaine Bear had one.
okay, I thought that was going to be
Let's
one.
see. I'm looking
Yeah,
at the list right now. 65 had one. The
okay.
Adam Driver film.
Right.
Oh, the Super Mario. I need to talk. Did you see the Super Mario Brothers one?
I actually did not see that one.
It was so it basically used the theme song from the old school like TV show, like the Mario rap, basically, and like
Yes.
it's basically a commercial for their plumbing company. So like it was like
Oh
all
my
like
god.
the grade of the film looked old and everything. Like it was incredible. Probably one of the best pieces of viral marketing I've seen in a long time. That was fantastic. And one of my most anticipated movies this year got a TV 30-second spot, which was Scream 6. That movie comes out March 10th. That's coming out next month. I'm beyond excited for it. I love the Scream franchise, and where they're taking this direction, it looks brutal. Like this Ghostface is truly unlike any Ghostface I've ever seen before, which has a lot of people, coming in with their conjecture and their theories about who it is, and they're saying Sydney and all these. But I'm like, it can't be Sydney. Like, do not like you can't do that. Like, you can't make Sydney Ghostface. Like, it's just it can't happen. But we'll see. The movie comes out next month. Yeah, right after we come back from Emerald City Comic Con, which we also are getting the Scream reunion at Emerald City Comic Con. So the original cast is going to be there. We were lucky enough to be able to, get a photo op with them. So I'm really, really excited for that. So that should be really fun. Anyways, let's talk about some of these trailers, some of the big ones that dropped during the game. And I want to start out with The Flash. The Flash had a really, really good showing, despite the Ezra Miller-ness of it all. I think it looks solid. We got more Michael Keaton. Like we got a lot of Michael Keaton. I kind of feel like they kind of give away too much if I'm being honest. But I guess they kind of have to sell the movie at this point, especially with the Ezra Miller stuff going on and everything. They have to find a new angle to really, really promote this thing. Yeah, what did you think of this trailer?
I'm really excited for it. I loved it. Even though I think you and I have both become the designated DC haters, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I am absolutely not. I'm very excited for this.
Same.
The trailer looked great. That's not to say that the movie's going to be great. I don't know. But I am definitely excited to see it. I've had this conversation, like, you're going to see that, even though, like, Ezra Miller. And, like, here's the thing. And we've kind of had this conversation about other people in the past. I think it's unfair to condemn thousands of people that worked on this by the actions of like one person. You know what I mean? Like that sucks. There's plenty of other people that worked on it that are not, predators or criminals or anything
100%.
that are doing great. And like if I worked on a project and this is going to be my big first movie, and I can't wait for everybody to see it, but then the lead actor like does that, I don't know that I would be like, don't see it. You know what I mean? I would say like, I worked really hard, and I know like my team worked really hard. So I'm definitely going to see it. I'm more excited now than ever. Yeah. I think it was really smart to show all the Batman stuff. There's jokes that they're going to change the name to Batman Flashpoint. That's obviously not going to happen. I think that might not be a bad thing for marketing, but,
No.
I thought it looks fantastic. So I'm really, really excited to see it. That was probably my favorite trailer of everything from the Super Bowl. So
yeah, it was really well done, really well put together. I actually really enjoyed. I kind of feel like this might be a redemption arc or a redemption for Ben Affleck's Batman as well, for his Bruce Wayne. Like he might actually get something to do this time. And I feel like it was really nice seeing him. And supposedly this is obviously gonna open up the universe for the DCU which James Gunn is spearheading now. So I'm really kind of excited to see how they handle that.
Yes.
Even though we still have 2 more DCEU movies coming out this year in Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. But we'll see how that plays out. I'm really excited to see how this year's going to go for DC. It'll be interesting to see.
Really? It's a big transition.
Huge, massive transition. They also released a new trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which was personally my favorite one out of the trailers that dropped. I feel like this one's just I'm gonna take a box of tissues with me because I feel like this one's going to have a real emotional oomph to it. The scene was in the last trailer, but the scene where Star-Lord's just like pissed and he's just breaking down in tears. It's a short 2-second thing, but something bad's gonna happen. But I think this one just really focused on the humorous aspect of it more so than the previous one, especially the stuff with like Gamora and her coming back, and she came back as a major dick. And like the scene at the end that got me was when she was talking about she points at Nebula and she's like, "You're more like talking about her." And they look at each other, they share that glance, and she's like, "No, don't even think about it."
So good.
I thought that was fantastic. What do you think about that one?
I did love that trailer too. I'm sad to see that this is going to be the end of this Guardians group as we know it. They tend to do that all the time. They try to end like a lot of these trailers with like a funny note. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
For a long time, and a lot of times they're not that funny. This was like really, really funny. I like finished that trailer in was laughing really hard. So that was fantastic. It's a bummer. It's a bummer that this is going to be it for the Guardians. So, but I know that James Gunn's going to end it with a bang.
Heck, sorry, my computer started being weird.
No worries.
No, yeah. I'm pretty stoked for that. That was another one of the major trailers, and one of the other ones which we kind of mentioned earlier was Air, which is Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, directed by Ben Affleck. It's also got Jason Bateman and a pretty solid cast. Chris Tucker's in it.
Yep.
It's basically about Nike courting basically Michael Jordan to make the Air Jordans and become a relevant company. I don't know. I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks great. Some good performances. Definitely going to be Oscar bait. Like, certainly feels like they're pushing for that. And Affleck's a fantastic director. Like, we've seen him. Argo was just Argo's my favorite film of his, and I thought he did a really, really good job directing that. But yeah, he's solid. Looks good. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Like, you can't go wrong with those two together. Even though I have not watched The Last Duel, so I couldn't really say if it was good or not. But those two have a good chemistry together. You saw the trailer as well, right?
Yeah, really, really excited. What a cool story to cover too. And Ben Affleck as Knight. I think that's really cool. It's cool how they kind of hide Jordan throughout the trailer, and like I guess they're gonna reveal something special. Viola Davis playing his mom. That's super cool.
Yeah,
super exciting too. I do love me some Matty Damons, so I'm always happy to see him in anything. But yeah, let alone him with Ben Affleck, I think is always a cool thing to see. So
100%.
Yeah, be good.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. And then we did get the Transformers one. Gosh, that's what I was looking up. I was looking up the full name of it.
Oh, I don't even. Yeah,
it's Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Rise of the Beasts. It was more of a car commercial though than anything. So it was mostly pushing the type of car. I think it was a Lexus or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, if it follows in the footsteps of Bumblebee, like I'm there. Like I love Bumblebee. I thought Bumblebee brought everything back to where it needed to be. And it looks like they're kind of headed that direction with even the character designs and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one.
Yeah, it was a cool trailer. I kind of already forgot that I saw it. I mean, it's not a knock on it. I think a lot of these Transformer trailers are just like,
pretty much, yeah.
it showed some cool characters. I'm not that steeped in like the lore of all of them, so I'm not like
Same.
I'm not like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme watching those things, but it looks
Right.
cool. I totally agree. I loved Bumblebee. That should be the new direction. So we'll see. It has like I don't know. It looks interesting. I'm hoping that I want to be a fan of the Transformers franchise. So
Mhm.
hopefully this will help. Just be two in a row that they can knock out of the park.
Hopefully, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm hoping for. I think it's going to be, yeah, I think it looks promising. So I'm pretty stoked for that one as well. Um, so I think that's all the kind of the big trailers that premiered during the Super Bowl. Let us know what you guys are excited about. Let us know what you guys want to watch. There's some good stuff. Just real quick, Ant-Man reviews are coming in for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah.
Middle of the road, seems to be exactly split down the middle. I think it's at a 56 on Rotten Tomatoes or something. Yeah, I mean, we got our tickets already for Saturday, so we're pretty stoked to go watch it. But we'll see what happens. Are you excited to watch Quantumania? Are you?
I had tickets. I was excited, but now I returned my tickets and I refuse to. I'm just kidding. I'm still gonna say it. I don't care. It's not. I mean, I've like doubled down. I'm already committed to this Marvel universe for years. I'm not gonna not see a movie because it
Mhm.
got bad reviews or something. So we'll see. I'm really excited because like there's kind of a lot of promise behind this movie. I'm really excited to see Jonathan Majors. What's the director's name again? I can never remember his name.
Uh, is it Peyton Reed?
Peyton Reed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he kind of promised, like he always felt like the Ant-Man movies were always like kind of transitional movies between the big ones, and he was like, I want to make
that is true.
a big
Yeah.
movie and not just have this be another. So that was kind of exciting. I have a feeling it might be because it's so sci-fi heavy that people might be like, this is like nerdy Star Trek.
Well, it's already getting like Star Wars comparisons. They're basically saying this is the MCU Star Wars.
Well, I think that might be
Yeah.
right up my alley then. So if
Yeah.
people hate it, I might end up loving this. So what's
No,
up, Jason? By the
100%.
way,
How's it going, Jason? Thank you for joining
yeah,
us. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I've liked the Ant-Man movie so far. And the thing about the MCU is like I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to lie. Like the quality has seemed to dip a little bit,
yeah,
over the past phase or so. But I mean, they're pushing out so many movies, and I feel like the quality control just isn't what it used to be. So they're
yeah,
just, they assume that people are going to go watch it anyway, so they're just going to push this stuff out. But I do think at a certain point they kind of have to step back and say, hey, like we need to reassess what we're doing. And because if the quality is not there, obviously, people talk about superhero fatigue all the time, right? Like superhero fatigue, we're getting sick of superhero movies. And I don't think they're getting sick of superhero movies. I think they're getting sick of subpar superhero movies, right? So it's not, and that's always been my thing with superhero fatigue, quote unquote, because I don't think the genre, there's so much you can do within the genre of superhero movies that it's just like its own umbrella term for comedy, drama, action. Like you can do all kinds of things. So
yeah.
superhero movie is just kind of a generic term. You can do all these things, but I feel like quality just needs to be there if
Yeah.
people are going to keep coming to them. And I
It,
think, yeah,
I kind of like to in my head canon blame the big boogeyman. I'm like blaming Bob Chapek for everything.
right,
Like
right.
he's like, you know what? Let's just turn this stuff out and just release everything.
That's what it
Um,
seems like.
I kind of felt that way with like Disney Plus. Like you can tell there were some shows that were like just rushed out. Like
Mhm.
Obi-Wan, how did Obi-Wan get the lowest budget when he's
Right.
like a legacy Star Wars character? Like Boba Fett just got rushed out. And then they also had these shows that were like they were kind of letting grow. I'm kind of really excited for Secret Invasion. Like that looks really good. That also looks like right up my alley. I think we
Yeah, it
got like
looks
a little
amazing.
short thing too for that too. The cast looks incredible. Like
Mhm.
holy crap, they're just throwing everybody at that. So I'm hoping, this was the thing that they let kind of marinate and like slowly kind of grew their story instead of rushing out. Andor kind of felt that way too. It was like, holy crap, this is like this pearl.
Right.
in the midst of all of this crap. So um, I agree. I think it was too much too fast, and they spread themselves too thin, and it's just bad timing. You can't they needed to come with their strongest stuff post Endgame, and they did with Spider-Man, and that was kind of it. Shang-Chi was great, and then everything else was like Black Widow, like a
Yeah.
lot of their shows. So
My thing with Shang-Chi is like it kind of perfectly defines what the MCU has become now. So it's like the first half was excellent, first part was phenomenal, but then towards the last third of the movie just kind of took this dive into like the CG,
yeah,
like just super bloated, like just I feel like it almost feels like two separate movies because I really like Shang-Chi, but I also kind of don't because I feel like the end kind of overpowers the rest of it. Like I like the first like 2/3 of it until it kind of goes into the where the MCU is now,
yeah.
which I think is interesting. Jason Bean, I have a little bit of superhero fatigue. I love more comic book based movies that are not superhero movies. Not all comics are superheroes, and there are so many great stories. No, absolutely true. I mean, there are a lot of so many comic books that aren't about superheroes, which is fantastic. And I love when they kind of adapt those. And there's one movie that I was actually super, super surprised to find out it was based off of a comic book. It's a romantic comedy that came out, I think it was last year, with Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson, where there's like something about a wedding and like he's like a concert promoter or something. It's like this super, super like romantic comedy, but it's based on a comic book. Like
I
no
had no
superhero.
idea.
It's insane. I found that out while I was reading up on the movie a little bit. I think it came to Peacock too at the same time, released in theaters. Um, but it's like, and I know that's not exactly what you're talking about, Jason, like those kind of movies, but still, like there's a lot of stories that can be told in the comic book medium. My daughter, she's reading and she watches it. There's a TV show on Netflix called Heartbreaker. And I didn't know it was a graphic novel series, and she's been reading the graphic novels. They're like YA graphic novels. But essentially the show's just about, it's basically a gay love story set in high school, like a romantic comedy. And that's what the whole show is. And that's what the books are. And it's just fun. So yeah, I think they're reaching into those a lot more.
Jason, I 100% agree with you. They kind of have been for a while. There, like you said, there are a lot of movies I don't think people realize. I mean, I think obvious things like Scott Pilgrim, I would even still kind of consider that a superhero movie. But like movies like Road to Perdition, Eastern Promises,
Yes.
Road to Perdition is one of the most beautiful movies. Just gorgeously shot. Awesome performances. Daniel Craig before the Bond stuff. Really a bald Jude Law too. Really, really cool. But yeah, some stuff I would love to see. So I kind of talked about this on another podcast about the comic books I read, and I was like, I have a lot of DC comics. I actually don't read that much superhero stuff. I prefer like the non-superhero stuff. So yeah, I at my age now, I buy by writer. So like if it's a writer that I respect, then I'll buy it. When I was a kid, I bought by artwork, right? So I would buy by the artist. But like, give me anything like Rick Remender, Michael K. Vaughan. I would love to see a Why the Last Man. I know that was in like production hell for like a long time. Saga, who he famously said was like unadaptable. I would love to see somebody try. If you guys haven't read Saga, it's another Michael K. Vaughan thing he did after Why the Last Man, and that he describes as Star Wars for perverts, which is, I feel like a gross oversimplification of it. It's a beautiful love story in space, and it's really, really cool. Straight Bullets is one of my other favorite things. I think that would be Tokyo Ghost. That's great too, Jason.
Like even books like From Hell. Like I had totally forgotten that From Hell was based off a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so crazy. But yeah, I mean, they can start adapting those, and I think studios, I mean, like you said, they have been, right? Like it's just we just haven't been paying it. A lot of people just don't know.
Right.
I think that's really cool. Speaking of comic books and speaking of the MCU, Kevin Feige sat down with Entertainment Weekly to promote Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and he let out a few little tidbits that I think we all kind of knew, but he kind of confirmed them that they have a really fantastic story. Well, it's what they all say. They have a fantastic story for Spider-Man 4. They just need to start getting it on paper, which they're doing right now as we speak. Tom Holland is indeed coming back for Spider-Man 4. He did talk about Phase 5 a little bit and how kind of what we were talking about the quality over quantity over quality. He was specifically talking about the TV shows. He was talking about how they want to do less, more overarching stories and more episodic television. Like his thing was he wants to have this to, this is what it has to make sense to be a TV show. Episodic in nature is a way to do that. And he even said that Daredevil Born Again is going to be episodic in nature. So it's not going to be an 18-hour movie. It's going to be episode by, I'm sure there'll be like a couple big arcs, but nothing that you can't just jump into. So I'm trying to think if there's any tidbits. And of course he said Kang is like the setup for the MCU going forward. He's, at least for the next phase or so, he's going to be the big bad. That's going to be the connective tissue. And he also discussed how the Fantastic Four movie, which is supposed to, I don't know if it's starting filming or I think it's supposed to release like next year or the year after. I think it's supposed to release in 2024. That's just what I recall. I don't know if I'm right or not, but he said that that's going to be like the kind of the new centerpiece of the MCU going forward. Like that's where everything's kind of going to stem from. And so it'll be interesting to see what the phases look like going forward. What was that?
Where are my X-Men? Damn it. Like how long has it been since they bought Fox? And I'm like, there's still no, I know that there's a long plan. And I think like they're using them like, okay, if we sink this deep, we can always use the X-Men to dig us out of the hole.
Yeah.
Just give it.
I think that's what they're doing. And I mean, I'm stoked for X-Men 97.
Yes. Yeah.
So like, that's what I'm like excited for. 97, right? It's X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Super excited about that.
An amazing team that they have on that project. So I have nothing but high hopes for 97. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Absolutely, 100%. So
that's all exciting. I'm really happy to see this. I think the thing that I love the most about this iteration of Spider-Man is his relationship with MJ and Ned. Like, I think that's the one thing that it's specific to this Spider-Man that we didn't get with the last ones that I adore. So I'm really curious to see if they're going to be bringing Zendaya back. Oh my God.
I'm sure they will.
Because that was so heartbreaking, man. That was like really, really cool to do at the end. But like, I ultimately want them back because I just love them together on the three of them.
Absolutely. So. I want the greatest villain of all time done correctly. Give me Doom.
Yes.
I would love to see Doom.
Yeah.
Live action. And even though, some of the rumors I've heard for Doom, have been pretty solid. Like, I'm actually sold on Adam Driver as Doom, to be honest.
I love that.
Isn't that fantastic? Like, I heard rumbling somewhere. I'm like, the second someone brought that up, I'm like, yeah, like Adam Driver is Doom.
Yeah.
I could even hear him with the Kylo Ren voice.
Doom. Fine.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Like, just do it.
I'm trying to think of somebody I'd like. I just like Adam Driver now. Now I'm committed.
Yeah, right. Let's make it happen. You're here to hear first, Pastrami Nation, Adam Driver, Doom. We're gonna make it happen. But there is the strong rumor about as Reed Richards. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember his name.
Which is it? I've heard a couple.
Well, Slumdog Millionaire.
Dev Patel.
Dev Patel. I think honestly, I'm on board with the Dev Patel train. I think he's fantastic.
I've heard multiple. So I've heard him. I've heard the guy from You. And then I've heard Chidi from what's it? The Good Place.
That would be awesome too.
I think that's my favorite.
That's fantastic. Like, let's get Chidi. Actually, I'm gonna. That's gotta happen.
Yeah.
I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, I think it is a tough character to cast, and I do like that they're kind of going for a little bit younger, right? So like not like, old man Reed, but
especially if they're trying to make this the centerpiece, I'm sure they want people that they can have in movies for like 10 years or more.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, and just real quick with the Feige interview, he did talk about Harrison Ford coming to the MCU. For those of you who don't know, he will be playing General Ross. You know, taking place of unfortunately he passed away. William Hurt, correct? That's his name, I believe. He played
Yes.
Ross in the previous ones.
Previously.
He's going to be replacing him. And in this, in Captain America: New World Order, he is President Ross. He has become president, and the story will take from there, and it'll be, you know, of course, Sam Wilson's relationship with him and stuff. So yeah, it'll be cool.
I heard that movie is going to be a soft Avengers 5 or something like that, like where he's basically regrouping the new members.
I think that's awesome.
Super into it. I really like that. By the way, really quickly, I think I might have talked about this before on this podcast, and I just want to say it again. While we're on the topic of Marvel and casting stuff, I just want to say, going back to the X-Men stuff, I can tell what kind of an X-Men fan people are by their opinion of Cyclops. And like, there are people that are like, Cyclops is so lame. I'm like, thank you, Bryan Singer, for doing that, for ruining Cyclops for everybody, because Cyclops is fucking awesome, and he's
Cyclops is amazing.
Characters. I think the casting of him is so important, and like I 100% Henry Cavill for Cyclops, without a doubt. There's so many people that want him for Captain Britain. I'm sorry, but who gives a shit about Captain Britain? Cyclops deserves a big actor. Henry Cavill deserves an awesome, juicy role. Cyclops, Henry Cavill, I feel like he is the quintessential superhero. He looks like what every artist for the last 50 years have been drawing anyway. Yeah. You can kind of put him in a lot. He could have played Batman. He could play Wolverine. You could put, doesn't matter. But please put him in a Cyclops. I think that would be so perfect. They might be trying to go younger. I don't care. He's perfect. So that's
100%. Yeah, I like Scott Summers. I like Cyclops. I think he's a great character. So I'm excited. You know, Henry Cavill. Listen, put Henry Cavill in everything. Hopefully, some of these reports that have been coming out from the Witcher set aren't true. I'm hoping that he has not fallen to the dark side. But you know, fingers crossed. So I still like him. He's still good in my book. So
benefit of the doubt for that guy.
What's that?
Benefit of the doubt, but hopefully none of that. None of those things are true.
Yeah.
So
same. Yeah. I hope so too. Let us know what you guys think about the MCU as a whole right now. Let us know if you're excited to see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And what are you guys excited for the future of the MCU? Just real quick, again, Jonathan Majors, man, this guy, he's still he's got Creed 3 coming out this year, where he just looks like he's just gonna wreck some.
That's shit, soon, right?
Yeah, that's soon. I think it's in April, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Because I know people already saw that at the premiere, which is crazy.
Yeah, and even Feige admitted that the reason why he got what sold him on Jonathan Majors was The Last Black Man in San Francisco. So if you guys have not seen that movie, I've been singing the praises of that movie for a long time. Go watch it. It's amazing. It's incredible. I freaking love that movie so much. So good. So good. Jonathan Majors is just like, he's so like charismatic. You just get drawn into every. This is going to be a Jonathan Majors episode. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's move on. I could sing his praises all day. I think he's fantastic.
This is his year, man. This is going to be it.
It is, man. And even Lovecraft Country a couple years ago, like, dude, the dude he's incredible. Anyways, let's talk about The Last of Us. Speaking of HBO shows, Lovecraft Country was on there as well. Let's talk about The Last of Us. We just got episode 5, which, I mean, I have to agree with you, Christian. I think it's my favorite episode of the series as well. I love episode 3. Episode 3 and they're good for completely different reasons. Like, I feel like they're both like on the same level, but they're totally completely different reasons. So in case you guys haven't watched it or played the games, we will be getting into some spoilers here because there is some pretty major stuff that went down. And I mean, I wouldn't say, I mean, it is major, but like, you know, it's not major to the overall story. I don't think, just kind of these particular characters.
Yeah, it's just a major hit point. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go ahead and leave us a like and maybe turn off the video right now. Go watch it, come back, and then you can hear us talk about
100%. So the episode is about Henry and
Sam.
Henry and his little brother Sam. I do like how they kind of they change some things from the game, obviously. In this one, Sam is
Love it.
deaf. Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. And he's younger too, right? Because in the game, I remember him and Ellie were the same age. Like
really close.
Really close, yeah. And I thought that was fantastic. I love the making him deaf kind of created a little bit more tension and a little
also
bit
making
more,
him younger too, because then there was kind of
yeah,
like the big sister aspect to Ellie.
absolutely. And I thought that was adorable with her and him, and they were, you're looking at this world of just complete despair and chaos, and these kids are laughing and smiling and like actually living their lives for a minute. And I thought that was a very, very beautiful thing. Gosh, what's her name? What's the bad
Kathleen.
Kathleen. She
Yeah.
is
So
she
good.
is something else.
So
And the thing about her is, though, it's like, she has like after like learning about why, you're like, okay, like eh, I get it, right? Like I do feel like her methods are a little bit intense, but like you sympathize with her, at that point where you're like, you learn what happened, you learn her brother, and you're like, oh, okay, like this is why this is happening. Yeah, and she goes on this mission to find Henry and Sam and Joel and Ellie, who are now together, trying to escape the city. Yeah, this episode has some really sweet moments, has some really brutal and scary moments, and then it has just some like the super sad, depressing moments. So yeah, I mean, what did you think of the episode as a whole, and what were kind of some of your main takeaways
so
from it?
I've seen the episode twice. I saw it on Friday and then I watched it again. I think yesterday, or not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. Cried both times. Some major, I think, like just we have to talk about. First of all, where do they find this kid that played Sam? He is the most adorable. He's so damn good.
Yeah.
You definitely watch the behind the scenes stuff after the episode. It's so sweet. It's just vengeance is never good unless you were a ghostwriter. Yeah, it's really cool. He's actually deaf. It's really cute to see like how much of like the cast and crew like picked up ASL so everybody can communicate.
That's amazing.
With him. It was so cool. Bella Ramsey, every episode just gets better and better and better. Like I couldn't imagine anybody else in this role. No. She's so good. So good.
She certainly has she's an actress. Like she's, she's a star. Like she's one of these people who is going to have a long, amazing career ahead of her. And you can tell just by these episodes that we've seen that she is dialed in. She's into it. Like she knows she's incredible.
She's at no point do I ever feel like she's acting. It all just feels so real with her, like so natural. It's incredible. And the other person, obviously Henry was fantastic too. Pedro is Daddy Pedro. He's always fantastic.
We love Daddy Pedro.
But Kathleen, I do not know the name of the actress.
So Melanie Linsky.
Thank you. Melanie Linsky. That role given to like a lesser actor would have been ruined because they would have just been like, you killed my, they'd be like yelling and everything. She's like, and she's just like, did you ever think that maybe your brother was supposed to die? Like just so dismissive,
so cold,
so cold
and so genius. And just real quick, just about Melanie Linsky, real quick. There are trolls out there. There's always going to be trolls out there. I don't know if you've heard the drama about this, but some people are talking about her weight and all this stuff and how she's living in this apocalyptic future. Anyways, just this whole kind of community of people that are trying to turn this thing into an issue. Guys, stop. Bullying's not cool. Like it doesn't matter. Like I don't know what the heck you guys are talking about. She's an incredible actress. She's amazing. She's fantastic. Anyways, I just had to throw that out there.
No, I agree.
It's ridiculous. It's insane.
I feel like people are just trying to pick the show apart for obvious reasons. They were like, see episode 3 stuff that people hated.
Yeah. On. Oh yeah. Like episode 3 was review bombed for no reason. Like, well, there's obviously a reason, but
That's one of the most
Anyways,
beautiful episodes of television,
yeah,
period. And like,
100%.
that's fine. You guys can, whoever wants to hate on this show, your guys are missing out. Like, this
Yeah.
is some of like, we've been blessed with amazing television over the last like year or so. And this is like top notch, like absolutely top notch.
Easily. Anyways, yeah, you were talking about her and how just she's an incredible actress.
So good, so under like spoken and like just like really subtle with her, but like really again believable. Like it's just like, man, I think it's a good example of like what happens when like she seemed like she was a good person before, and like she's just been pushed to the brink, and she just has no more reason to be like, she's like, I don't care anymore. I don't care. Like this, it's all about like Jason. It's all about vengeance now.
Yeah.
Which is also like I think another theme of the game. You know what I mean? I think like love
100%.
and vengeance is a big thing. So, I think that's kind of what all of these side characters are doing, is just like a reflection of like what is possible with Joel and Ellie, especially with like the Sam and Henry stuff. But that's sent a cold chill down his spine. But man, when he reveals, because he in the game, again, spoilers, Sam does not reveal to anybody that he was bit. He kept it to himself. And they had a very similar conversation where he was like, what do you think happens when you turn to a monster as the person still inside? Like, so much more effective this time because of it. And like, and just like
to save him with her blood.
Oh God, that's when I started crying. Like, because she was like, this is what I'm here for. This is like why, the whole reason why we're on this mission. And I can save you. You know what I mean? And she really believed that. And it was just really sweet. And like, I think like
tearing up just thinking about her.
I know, me too. I'm like trying to slow down a little bit, but it was just so beautiful. And then I really do think too, it happens in the game and it happens here too, but you really see it because this was like her last chance at like innocence. They find that underground bunker. She was like, dude, there's so much shit to do here. Let's just stay here, and it's just all this fun kid stuff. And it's like, for her to lose Sam like that, for them to lose Sam, like, God, I can only imagine the people that didn't play the game watching that, just like, whoa, like,
well,
it's like I was watching
it.
Fast.
I was watching it with Eli and Ellie, my kids, and they had watched me play a lot of the game, but like there's a big chunk in the middle where they were kind of off doing their own thing, so they kind of watched the beginning and the end. And we're watching it, and Ellie's like, there's something like that's clicking with her. She's like, they're not gonna die, are they? I was like, I didn't say a word. I was like,
yeah,
I can't. She's like, they better not die. Like when that scene happens, like both of their faces are just like, her especially, like I felt she was in tears. Like she was just like, she couldn't handle it. And she did say like halfway through the episode, I swear if they die, I'm done with the show. The show's done. I'm finished. I'm not watching it anymore. But yeah, it was just like how quickly, because it happens the same way in the game, kind of, right? Where he shoots him Sam, and then Sam, and then Henry just pulls the gun onto himself. Just seeing it play out in live action was just like on a whole other level. Like,
and all three of their performances between the three of them, like Pedro, like just like, all right, just hand me the gun. And then like when he does it, like Ellie lets out, or like, Bella Ramsey lets out this like just like, it's not even like a pretty scream. It's just like,
no, it's
literally, it's yeah. And like, and then at like, it goes from like super sad to, and then they go to them like burying them, and then she leaves the little Etch-a-Sketch thing, and you don't see what she wrote on it, or if she wrote anything until the end. But she's like, she puts it down and she was like, which way is west? And then just walks off. Like
she's just so cold and just like so like dead at that point. Like
she
inside, she's just like.
And you see when she writes, I'm sorry, and it's like, I don't know if she wrote I'm sorry because like I didn't stay up with you, or because I couldn't save you, or because I was wrong. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe it's all of those things.
That's what I was thinking too. I think it was a combination of I was wrong and I couldn't save you, right? Like,
right.
I think it weighed on her a lot that she couldn't save him. Like that she has this gift, this whatever it is, but she can't use it. She can't save people. And that's kind of what Yeah, I mean, throughout the whole show, right? It happens to where, like, when they get bombarded last episode, that guy's walking in the street. He's like, "Help me, help me!" And he's like, and she's like, "We're gonna help him, right? Like, we're gonna help this guy." And then he's like, "No,
Put on your
that's when
seatbelt.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah." Like, she's just, I mean, the thing people forget. I mean, she's a kid. Like, she's 14, yeah, whatever, but she's a kid. Like, she's a baby. Like, she's still learning about the world, and in these what do they call the zones again? The
QZs, yeah.
QZs, yeah, quarantine zones. That's all she knows. And even when you play the DLC in the game a little bit, the I can't remember what it's called. My brain isn't.
I haven't actually played. That's the story with her and Riley, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm actually letting my daughter play through that because she wanted to play the game. This one's a little bit easier for her to play. But yeah, it's just kind of her and Riley, like, growing up in the QZ. Not growing up, but a couple years before the game takes place.
Yeah.
So you get to see what her kind of, not growing up was like, but what her life was even when it was regular, in these zones. But yeah, it's just tragic.
It's just like the people are not ready for this season because, man, like, where this is going now, and like, I just can't wait till we get to the season finale, and I don't know how people are gonna take it. I'm really, like, curious to see, but there's still more devastation on the way.
Like, I still struggle, like, even with the very end. I don't want to ruin the end of the game yet, especially with the show. But what Joel does at the end, like, I know why.
Yeah.
But I still struggle with the morality of it all. You know what I mean? Like, but anyways, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Later
Yeah.
on. But yeah, it's an excellent show. Anthony Blanco, how dare you? You're late. How dare you? We've been waiting for you to start the podcast. Anyways, no, what's up, Anthony? It's good to see you. At least you're here.
Yeah,
that's what matters.
You made it.
We really, really appreciate that. But yeah, if you're not watching The Last of Us yet, please go watch it. And I think a lot of people, it's not so. I've heard a lot. It's not The Walking Dead, right?
No.
It's not like about just zombies, and it's they don't even call them zombies in the game, or even in the show. They're not zombies, but it still strikes me how little to do with that the story actually is. Like, when I'm not going to lie, when I first started playing The Last of Us, I thought it was going to be like Walking Dead. There's going to be zombies everywhere, and it's just a survival thing, and you're just going to kill zombies and kill the bad guys, and, like, that's it. I was, like, in the best way possible, I was surprised at how little that has to do with the story. And even when you do face those guys, it's the human element that makes it worse, right? It's the human element that are the real villains of the story. Because those guys are a-holes. Like, I think you had mentioned it in a podcast before, Christian, about how when you're going into a room, you see, like, the runners or the whatever, the clickers, and you sigh of relief because they're not cute, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can do this, no problem. It's just when you run into, like, the military guys and the what are they called? Man,
I mean,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's those.
There's only one part of the game where I'm like, God, I was dreading getting back to. It's towards the end, and there's no spoilers, but you're about to get to the hospital. You have to go through this little underpass. Jeez Louise, man.
That I almost lost a TV and a remote control because of that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was getting to a point where I was like, and I understand that was kind of like the big boss moment in a way, right? It's like, you just have to get through this and then you get to that. That was brutal. That took me. I had to turn it off.
It was frustrating because I remember vividly from the first, like, 10 years ago, like, how difficult that was. So playing it again, I mentioned to Kevin before we started, I've replayed it twice recently, once and then another time on Game Plus mode. So the first time playing it through again, it took me a while, but it wasn't so bad because I was kind of prepared mentally. The second time around, so okay, this is my little trick. I got through it in, like, literally under a minute.
Did you?
I think I was just lucky. So, like, there's kind of a spoiler. There's two
Oh,
bloaters, right? There's two
right.
bloaters,
Oh, I don't
and
think
on
that's
top of
no,
other like other infected. So, and they're like if you don't disturb them, they're kind of in the same place. So I threw a brick or like a bottle or
That's what I did
something,
too.
right? And then they all congregated, and then I just bombed them. I hit them
Yeah.
with like Molotovs, and then I hit them with the little shrapnel
Nice.
bombs, and it was it. That was it. It was done. So quickly. I hit them with a little bit of like the fire thrower or the flamethrower, and then that was over.
Dude, that's cool.
Really lucky. But
Little
man,
tip for y'all if you guys haven't,
Yeah.
if you have the PS5, I highly recommend playing the remasters. Yeah, so
Yes,
I
that's what we're
actually
talking about.
yeah, so I actually was debating for a while because I was like, I wanted to play The Last of Us, and I was like, okay, I wanted to play it before the show started. So I started it late last year, so like November, I think, of last year, because we finally got the PS5 and everything, we got it all going. But then I knew the remaster was coming out for the PS5 specifically, but I was like, I can wait, or I can just play the PS4 remaster, which was actually. It still looks good for the PlayStation PS5. So I mean, I was wondering if they were going to do something similar for the Last of Us Part 2. But from what I hear, there's actually what I was reading, there's a patch for the PS4 version of Last of Us 2 that will actually upgrade to a PS5 version, essentially, graphics and everything.
Right. So because I had it on the PS4, I didn't have to pay anything to download the upgrade. I will say playing the the remastered part 1 and then now jumping right into part 2, it's seamless. So like from the menus to the buttons to all of like your loading screens, everything. So it's like, you don't have to relearn anything. It's just the same muscle memory.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I picked up part 2, so I'm actually really excited to
usually, I mean, dude, like if you put an hour in tonight, you're gonna get a lot. I don't know. You're probably gonna want to go to bed tonight, but
my wife is so we're having a struggle right now, having a really big struggle. My wife, she is playing the wizard game a lot. So she got that, and then I get the Last of Us Part 2 a week later, and so I got to play my Last of Us Part 1. She's playing her little wizarding game.
Yeah.
And then so we kind of have to figure that out because she's kind of addicted right now.
Yeah.
Which looks, I mean, the game looks listen, whatever you think of Harry Potter, all that stuff, but the game looks incredible. Like
I didn't even realize that was out already.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah. She's been playing it, like she loves it. It looks like a lot of fun. I've been watching her play just because she wants to play, so I'm letting her play. She's had me beat a couple bosses for her though.
It's the whole reason she bought the PlayStation, right? So
it really is. Actually,
you kind of have to.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I got the game downloaded. I downloaded the patch and everything for it for Last of Us Part 2. So just kind of when I can sneak it in.
I've been lately playing like after 11 p.m. Like that's the only time I get.
Oh, gotcha.
It's when I'm free and it's when the TV's free.
Nice.
Which is kind of fucking horrible to play such a horrific game late at night because I get weird dreams now. But
dude,
still worth it.
I can't do that anymore. I remember the PS2 days. They playing Resident Evil at like super late at night. Like that shit scared the crap out of me. Even for the regular PlayStation, right? Like when Resident Evil 2 came out, like that was one of the most terrifying experiences I think I've ever had. There's another game I did that with for the Xbox. I think it was Xbox 360. I think it was called Fear. The game Fear. I think it was Fear 2, I think, or something like that. Nah, man.
I don't really do horror games. I mean, what are your guys' favorite horror games? But for me, like my big one was Dead Space. Like,
Dead Space was great. Evil Within. The Evil Within terrified me.
There was something that Dana's brothers bought us for Christmas, and we played maybe 5 minutes of it, and we were like, no. We had to because it was like there's a line of like gore that I can take.
Right.
And when it becomes gratuitous and like too much, I'm like, I don't want to normalize this in my head, So I'm like, we just turned it off.
There was this in Evil Within. There's this one scene where it's at the beginning too, where you're running away from this butcher, and like this butcher's trying to kill you in this house, basically, and in this like butcher shop, and like you're running around. There's like bodies hanging everywhere and stuff, and you're like just like running away from this guy, and you turn around, he's just right there, like with the chainsaw. My God,
I think that's the game. That was the scene. We were like, no, Never again.
That game's rough too because it's from the same kind of. I don't know exactly who from Resident Evil created it, but it's kind of the same kind of creators. But like you get like super limited ammo. Like it's super hard.
Survival horror game. Yeah.
Very super survival horror.
Yeah.
But it's terrifying. I actually never even finished the first one because I just couldn't do it. And I'm a horror guy. Like I love horror.
I mean, so that was the thing with Dead Space. My students were all just like, dude, you got to play it. And they're like, if you play with headphones and turn off your lights. So I remember this is PS3 days. I'm like the same thing. I had my headphones. I'm like this close to the TV and I'm playing and I was like immediately, I'm like, nope. And I had to like put the just regular speaker on. I had to have my back against the wall. I platinumed it though. So I got all the way through it. But that was the only Dead Space. I didn't go 2 and 3. I played a little bit of 2. But now I want to play Callisto Protocol because it's the same maker. I just again haven't got
that one. Actually looks really cool. Like I really do want to play that. Jason says, I can honestly say I don't play them. I can't recall ever playing a horror game. It's Splatterhouse. Dude, this UFO stuff, man. This is a whole other episode altogether because I'm like tripping out. What is happening? What is going on? Is it a government cover-up? Is it a conspiracy to distract from the stuff going on in Ohio right now? There's a lot of stuff going on.
So they interviewed. I think he was was he a general who like would not rule out UFOs?
Yeah, they're not ruling out aliens, which is like
in a public interview. It was like I cannot rule out the possibility of this being like extraterrestrial, and then they were like, okay, thanks. Like the interviewer, like, how are you gonna no follow up?
What do you say to that, right? But still, like after the whole thing, there's the Chinese balloon, and then there was the Alaska, Canada, Michigan UFO that was shot down. Like, so that's 3 UFOs that we have no idea where they came from, whose they are, what they belong to. Obviously, we know the Chinese balloon. Dude, we will do a UFO podcast. I'm 100% down.
Yep.
I mean, like legit. Like I'm 100% like there. I am legitimately kind of excited about this.
Yeah.
Excited and terrified at the same time. Like, because it's like, I don't want to sound like a nut, but like, you never know what they're going to do, right? Like once they're here, are they going to be ET or are they going to be Mars attacks?
It is kind of funny though, how like this is pretty groundbreaking and like the fact that the government is acknowledging stuff. And like, I think we as the public have been through so much in the last like 8 years that we're like, okay, well just keep us updated if anything changes. Like just like, okay.
And that's the funny thing about it is like no one's freaking out about it. Everyone's like, yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Like bring it on.
But it's like, basically like the government that we're like, yeah, it could be. It might be.
Dude, that's insane. Like over the last couple of years, actually, with a lot, believe it or not, with the help of Tom DeLonge, like he's been doing a lot of he has a thing before the stars are shoot, I forgot what it's called, but he has an academy, something about the Stars Academy, where he actually talks to UFO experts and stuff. And he's actually,
that's awesome.
A lot of those like videos and stuff that have been declassified from those jet pilots and stuff, like the cigar shaped ones and stuff like that, or the ones coming out of the water. That's all because of Tom DeLonge.
That's so crazy.
To the Stars Academy, that's what it's called. Yeah. Before I had kids, I was all for it. Now that I have kids, I'm like, can they carry their own weight, right? Man, I hope so. It is super exciting. You're right on the money. I've been keeping my mouth shut this whole podcast, but we will have a UFO podcast.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
They're here.
It's so like, oh God, we could really get deep into this. I think it's funny. So I'll just repeat this. Seth Meyers talked about it and I thought it was really funny that like our initial reaction was like, shoot it down. Cause like, he was like, for all we know, they were like, hey man, we wanted to solve your like global warming thing for you. Yeah. You're shooting us down, or like we were going to bring your glaciers back. Yeah. And we're just like, bah, 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 bah,
dude,
like shooting them out of the sky.
There's this
So
podcast I listen to called the Mysterious Universe Podcast. It's two guys from Australia. They get into these really esoteric topics like UFOs, and they just did an episode on the Apollo Guardians, talking about how when the Apollo missions go up to the moon, like they supposedly saw these aliens and stuff. And anyways, supposedly like we're actually protected by aliens when we go up there to explore. It's like this weird thing. I don't know. It's insane. I could talk about it all night. It's crazy. It's but once you because there's all this missing audio from the Apollo missions that they're saying that people who overheard them back in the 50s 60s and stuff essentially said that like people like Buzz Aldrin and stuff, they said there's like, dude, there's something up here. Like there's like a building, there's something crazy going on up here. I don't know. It's insane. Again, I'm starting to sound like a nut. I'm not one of those late night
so
UFO things. But yeah, we'll definitely have a UFO episode. We need to, because with stuff going on right now, we could definitely talk about this for hours. I'm not even kidding. I just want, dude, wouldn't that be so cool? Like,
yeah.
Oh man,
I know.
now you got me worked up, Anthony. But anyways, we'll go ahead and start wrapping up now. Let us know kind of what you're thinking of The Last of Us as well. Have you played the games? Which one are you excited for? Or have you been watching the show? Which, let us know what you think. So yeah, guys. And again, as another reminder, Ted Lasso season 3, March 15th.
Yes.
Watch it, please. Watch
Ted
it.
Lasso. Also, White Lotus. If you guys haven't watched
Lotus.
White Lotus, I'm super caught up and I'm excited for season 3. Also, just started watching 1899. What in the hell is happening in that show? I have no clue. I'm only on the third episode.
I'm very curious about that show.
Every prediction you might have you'll be like, okay, I think I get it, and then it gets to the end of the episode, and I'm like, all right, that's definitely not it. It's very confusing. But yeah, pay attention if you're watching.
Dude,
that.
I want to check that out.
Yeah.
And also, if anyone here has seen or anything or saying, hey, you should watch this, I'm definitely interested in checking out Yellowstone. I don't know if anyone's watched it, if anyone's seen it, but I've heard great things. I do want to check it out, but I'm curious what you guys think. Have you guys seen Yellowstone? Let me know if I need to watch it. I heard it's pretty amazing. Interstellar, man. Interstellar is a fantastic movie. That montage when he's watching his kids in space, like when he's just, oh my gosh. I can't even fathom that. It's so crazy. Jason Bean loves Yellowstone. That's all I need to know.
I heard it was one of the best shows last year, so I definitely want to check it out. And it has a spin-off now too. So
it does, yeah. There's the Harrison Ford one too, the prequel. There's the prequel with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. Like, it's insane.
Yeah,
like, doing a TV show. Like, what the heck?
Crazy.
But yeah, guys, thank you guys for checking us out. You guys know where to find us, Kevin Hoskinson, at Yahoo, Twitter, what the heck? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you like. Didn't like 1883, but also love 1920. Cool. Definitely check those out. Find me on all those. Christian, they can find you, Christian.
All the places. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, find me.
Nice.
First and last name, Christian Nacorda. Yeah.
Christian Nacorda, 1923, I may like more than Yellowstone. Good night, guys. LOL. Anthony, you have inspired us. We're going to do a UFO podcast, and you better be there. You better be at least watching. And if you have anything to say, man, let us know. We'll definitely discuss it. I'm excited. We should do like a pop culture UFO thing where we talk about UFOs and pop culture and what's going on in real life.
That
would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also while you're out there, don't forget to take care of yourselves and each other. You guys have a good night and a good day whenever you're listening or watching this, and take it easy.